I think it was like a test, he said. And I was like, all it did was, it was like...
It reaffirmed?
It was an aphrodisiac.
It all started with Louvor. At least that's the story Robyn Brown always wanted to tell. Love for family, love for creativity, love for the symbolic beauty of metal shaped into meaning. I'm in, she once tearfully told. The sister wives' cameras trying to show viewers that her commitment ran deeper than cameras or contracts. That same sentiment spilled into my sister wife's closet. The jewelry business she presented not just as a boutique, but as a legacy project, a heartfelt extension of the Brown family's values. Her personal growth and her daughter's future. She wasn't just the fourth wife with tearful monologues and long reflective silences. She was the dreamer, the artist, the businesswoman. Or at least that's what fans believed. They supported her even when the show began to fracture, even when her role in the family dynamic became increasingly controversial. For many loyal viewers, Robyn's store was more than merchandise, it was memorabilia. A way to own a piece of the story they'd invested over a decade of their lives in. So when one longtime fan stumbled across a listing for a limited edition charm bracelet, I like 3 left in stock, it felt serendipitous. She had cried with Robyn, defended her online, and rooted for her through years of emotional confessionals. She placed her order without hesitation. $217 was charged to her account. A confirmation email arrived quickly, cheerful and decorated with emoticons. It promised updates when her item shipped. But the package never came. Days passed, then weeks. No tracking updates, no further communication. Her inbox stayed silent, and her jewelry never arrived. At first, she thought it might be a small mistake, maybe a shipping delay or a system glitch. But as she searched for contact information, she realized there was no customer service phone number, no chatbot, no contact form that worked. Emails went unanswered. One even bounced back with an address not found error. Her order was gone, and with it, her trust. And she wasn't alone. Across Reddit threads, Facebook groups, and TikTok confessionals, the same story kept repeating. Fans began posting screenshots of receipts, timelines of silence, and pleas for refunds that went unanswered. Some had ordered necklaces for birthdays. Others had purchased keepsakes for anniversaries. One woman bought matching charms for her and her sister to celebrate their reunion. Another saved up for a pendant to mark her daughter's graduation. Each story followed the same script: confirmation received, money withdrawn, then nothing. What had started as a jewelry line built on family symbolism and shared identity had turned into a black hole of lost funds and broken promises. Despite the widespread complaints, the My Sister Wife's Closet website stayed up and running. The layout was still polished, the product pages still functional, the slogans still heartfelt. Our family, our story, our closet. Products still showed as in stock. The checkout page worked without a hitch. There was no banner indicating delays. No notice of paused operations. It was as if the store was alive and well until the moment you placed an order and were met with silence. People weren't just losing money. They were losing the illusion of connection that Robyn had so carefully curated. And for many, that was the deeper betrayal. Over time, the outrage intensified. One customer said she emailed 6 times before her last message bounced. Another tried reaching Robyn through her Cameo profile. A few fans even commented on Christine and Janelle's Instagram posts, desperate for help, but no one responded. No one acknowledged the growing wave of complaints. Robyn, who once spoke openly about her struggles with budgeting and starting over after divorce, said nothing, not even a cryptic social media post. Her silence screamed louder than any admission. Things escalated when a Reddit user conducted a small experiment in July 2025. They placed a fake order using a prepaid card. The order processed instantly. A confirmation arrived, but nothing else came. No tracking number. No dispatch notice. The fans shared screenshots, and suddenly thousands of others began comparing notes. What they found was chilling. This wasn't a slow business, it was a dead one, still dressed up and ready to take money. A hollow shell designed to absorb payments while giving nothing back. And it had been doing so for months, possibly years. With no inventory, no service, and no oversight. Then came the alleged insiders. In a private Facebook group, a post appeared from someone claiming they had worked behind the scenes on the site. They alleged that Robyn knew the store had no inventory, that she was fully aware customers were still placing orders, that she chose not to stop it. 2 more individuals came forward within days, echoing the same claims. One said they had worked on site maintenance and flagged dozens of items as out of stock only to be told to leave them listed. Another claimed Robyn rejected suggestions to pause checkout. She said it would make her look like she gave up, the contractor recalled. But there was nothing to ship. No restocking had occurred. In over a year, the most damning accusation came from a source who claimed Robyn manually reactivated a product listing after it appeared in a rerun of Sister Wives, knowing full well there was no physical product to sell. She wanted to capitalize on the attention, they said, but there was nothing. Nothing in the inventory, nothing behind those photos. It's just an empty box. This wasn't poor management. This wasn't a woman in over her head. This, they said, was calculated deception. A deliberate choice to keep taking money while giving nothing in return. The public response was swift and brutal. A viral Facebook post from a grandmother who lost money on a bracelet for her granddaughter's wedding received thousands of shares in a single day. The comments became a grief circle of sorts, each person detailing their own small heartbreak, each one feeling more betrayed than the last. I thought I was the only one, someone wrote. Now I just feel foolish. One woman posted a photo of the receipt taped to her fridge next to a birthday card, now a bitter reminder of a gift that never arrived. Another shared her last. 3 emails all bounced, all unanswered. Some customers even reported being blocked from messaging the site after repeated inquiries. Others said their complaints were filtered and ignored. As evidence mounted, so did the pressure on other members of the Brown family. Janelle, Christine, and Mary found themselves pulled into the chaos not because they were directly involved, but because the brand bore all of their names. Fans flooded their posts with demands for answers. "I trusted your family," one user commented. "Now I feel like I was scammed." Janelle, who has long been open about financial struggles and independence, was suddenly being asked to explain why her family's business was stealing from fans. Christine, now remarried and rebranded as her own woman, couldn't escape the questions. Mary, who had long distanced herself from Robyn, was being tagged in refund requests. The fallout wasn't limited to one wife. The scandal was poisoning the Brown legacy. The saddest part, this could have been avoided. Robyn had simply closed the store. If she had sent an email explaining the delay, she had refunded even half the orders. But there was no effort, no apology, no attempt at repair. The store simply kept absorbing money, as if the collapse of the Brown family had extended into their e-commerce. Fans weren't just buying jewelry. They were buying a piece of television history, a symbol of the emotional investment they'd made in the family's highs and lows. And now they were left with nothing. No jewelry, no answers. Just a cold server error and the knowledge that the person they trusted had vanished. People are now calling for action. Hashtags like #ClosetGate, #SisterScam, and #WhereIsMyJewelry have gone viral. Influencers have picked up the story. Legal advice is being shared in comment sections. Some fans are talking class action lawsuits. Others just want their money back. But most want accountability, simple acknowledgement from Robyn, an explanation, a plan, anything but more silence. This wasn't just about a broken website. It was about broken trust, about a community that gave the benefit of the doubt one too many times. Robyn had once said she wanted to show her daughters how to be strong women, how to be entrepreneurs, how to build something meaningful. But this scandal has become a lesson in the opposite. How easily trust can be sold and how long betrayal can last when silence follows it. And while Robyn may hope this story fades, the internet doesn't forget. The receipts are everywhere. The hurt is real, and the fans are done waiting.
We're still gonna be here like this, together, right? Like where we both believe in the possibility of.
It began like so many Brown family ventures with a promise sentimental, spiritual, and sold as empowerment. My Sister Wife's Closet wasn't just pitched as a jewelry brand. It was framed as a sacred sisterhood project, a symbol of resilience, creativity, and faith. Fans of Sister Wives were drawn in by the narrative. Women in plural marriage, carving out independence, offering handmade jewelry infused with meaning. But more than a decade later, what began as a boutique of heart-shaped lockets and infinity pendants has collapsed into one of the most damaging scandals the Brown family has ever faced. At the center is Robyn Brown, the favorite wife, once painted as the soft-spoken peacemaker. Now allegedly the orchestrator of a digital deception that has infuriated fans and triggered legal questions. The fallout didn't come like a bomb, it came like a slow leak, first with whispers. A missing order here, a complaint there. Fans thought it was just poor service or pandemic delays. But then came the Reddit threads, TikTok exposes, screenshots, chargebacks, and receipts. That showed a disturbing trend. Dozens, now likely hundreds of buyers had paid, waited, begged, and never received their jewelry. The brand hadn't just failed to ship products, failed to speak. No responses, no updates. It's just auto replies, broken tracking links, and silence. People didn't buy from My Sister Wife's Closet because they needed cheap trinkets. They bought because they believed. They believed in Mary's strength, Christine's independence, Janelle's steadiness. That belief has now curdled into betrayal. Christine, who distanced herself from the business years ago, is reportedly furious. Sources say her DMs are overflowing with refund demands from fans unaware she left the venture long ago, around the time she spiritually divorced Cody. She was blindsided, not just by the reemergence of the brand, but by the realization that the website was still taking orders. She had moved on, built her own identity, and yet here she was dragged back into a mess she never co-signed. Janelle, too, is caught in the wake. Though not involved, her financial ties to the family's LLCs and Coyote Pass mean she may have lingering exposure. She's reportedly consulting attorneys to ensure her name is legally disentangled from the failed business. Mary, meanwhile, is facing a separate kind of scrutiny. A viral post claims she forwarded a customer complaint to Robyn months ago, only to be met with silence. Whether she followed up or washed her hands of it is unclear, but fans now see her silence not as neutrality, but complicity. And what about Cody, the patriarch who once called the boutique a family dream? It's not escaping this either. Old episodes show him sketching jewelry, brainstorming logistics, and proudly calling the site a source of passive income. But that income, if generated from unfulfilled orders, now looks like profit born from deception. A blogger uncovered documents allegedly listing Cody with signing authority on the original LLC that, combined with his visible role in early branding, could drag him into legal crosshairs. The LLC is listed as dormant, not dissolved, a technical detail that could matter in the eyes of the law. If names like Cody's or Robyn's are still tied to bank accounts or merchant processors, they could be liable for what legal analysts online are calling deceptive trade practices. And fans aren't waiting quietly. They've taken to the Better Business Bureau, the FTC, and consumer watchdog groups. One viral YouTuber read a formal complaint from a scammed viewer on air, which triggered a wave of similar reports. TikTok users have posted video after video showing screenshots of receipts, ghosted tracking pages, and months-long email chains. These aren't trolls, these are loyal fans. Some are military wives, elderly women, and longtime supporters who spent money they couldn't afford to lose. Their heartbreak isn't just financial, it's personal. They were emotionally invested in a family they believed in, and they feel duped. Then, without warning, the website changed. A generic message appeared. We're updating our inventory. Please check back soon. No refund offers, no apology. No answers. According to a Reddit post by a self-proclaimed developer, someone close to Robyn requested that the payment system be quietly disabled, not the whole site after a rush of chargebacks began. His post claimed it wasn't proactive. It was reactive. They realized they were exposed. Fans agree, especially those who had placed orders just hours before the site vanished and are now left with nothing. The site's quiet shutdown only added fuel to the fire. Meanwhile, Robyn has remained utterly silent. No statement, no live video, no Instagram acknowledgement, just filtered family photos and cryptic captions. Her refusal to address the growing controversy, especially after years of crying on national television over everything from holiday seating charts to wedding dresses, now reads as indifference. The fans who once defended her emotional vulnerability now call it manipulation. And while the rest of the Browns, Christine, Janelle, and Mary, try to contain the reputational bleed, Robyn remains curiously absent from the accountability conversation. Public sentiment is shifting hard. Comments on her posts are brutal. You robbed us blind. You scammed your own fans. I believed in you. The emotional capital she built for over a decade is collapsing. And even if she says nothing, lawyers might be preparing to say plenty. Legal chatter about a potential class action lawsuit is growing louder by the week. While no suit has been publicly filed yet, fans are reportedly organizing, documenting, and consulting consumer attorneys. Even if it doesn't reach court, the reputational damage is irreversible. TLC is allegedly monitoring the situation closely. A production insider says footage of My Sister Wife's Closet may be cut from upcoming seasons, or at the very least, come with a disclaimer. The network knows this isn't just another messy subplot, it's a credibility crisis. Because this story isn't about charms and necklaces, it's about trust. Fans supported the brand because they believed in the family's values. Unity, growth. The boutique was marketed as a piece of that journey. Now, all that's left is a broken promise. No refunds, no remorse. Just a digital graveyard of empty orders and bitter disappointment. The very people Robyn claimed to empower are the ones she's allegedly harmed the most. As this unfolds, the larger narrative is clear. The collapse of My Sister Wife's Closet reflects a deeper, long-simmering dysfunction within the Brown family. Robyn's alleged mishandling of the boutique echoes the same themes that pushed Christine to leave: secrecy, favoritism, financial irresponsibility. Janelle's entanglement is a mirror of the emotional and legal limbo she's long lived in. Mary's quiet deflection highlights how often silence enables harm. And Cody's ever-present arrogance now looks more like reckless negligence. What comes next remains to be seen. But whether or not the Browns speak, the fans already have. And they're done waiting for answers. This isn't just a scandal, it's a reckoning. Robyn Brown is no longer seen as the misunderstood fourth wife. Too many, she is now the face of exploitation. Christine, Janelle, and Mary are left untangling themselves from a legacy that no longer serves them. And Cody, for once he may have to face the music not from producers, but from the people who funded his empire. Whether or not Robyn offers refunds, apologies, or ever speaks again, the damage is done. The trust is broken. And for those who once looked up to the Browns as a symbol of family against the odds, what remains is a single hard truth. The glitter was a lie? For more truth beneath the sparkle, subscribe to Starspill USA.